Okay, what if I told you there's a simple truth that can make almost any organization better? I'm talking about a method that completely flips conventional wisdom on its head. It unlocks this massive hidden source of improvement that honestly most leaders just walk right past every day. So let's dig in and find out what it is.
So let's start with a really direct question. When a company wants to make a real leap forward, in efficiency or quality or customer service, where do you think the best ideas actually come from?
Now, the conventional wisdom says it all comes from the top, right? We think of these big strategic projects planned in the boardroom, or maybe some expensive consultants coming in, or major initiatives rolled out by senior management. That's the standard playbook. But what if that's just wrong? I mean, what if the single greatest source of improvement is actually hiding in plain sight and is being completely overlooked by most leaders? Well, here it is, the big reveal. Research shows that a staggering 80% of an organization's potential for improvement comes not from the top, but from frontline ideas. Yeah, you heard that right, 80%. We're talking about the small practical insights from the people who are actually doing the work, day in and day out. This concept is so powerful, it's actually got a name, the 80-20 principle of improvement.
And this isn't just a theory, we've got the data to prove it. Check this out. At a Coca-Cola bottling plant in Stockholm, they tracked where their cost savings were coming from. Now, the management-led projects, they saved about 2.5 million kroner. Not bad, but the 1,720 small ideas from the frontline workers, they saved 8 million kroner. That is more than 3 times the impact from the so-called experts.
So what does this look like in the real world? This is where it gets really interesting, where we see the incredible power of these small ideas and how tiny suggestions can solve problems that have stumped the experts for years. Okay, so back at that same Coke plant, they had this nagging problem. You've got bottles whipping around this corner, and they'd bunch up. Then, when the rejection arm tried to push just one bottle, the one behind it would get knocked over, blocking the entire line. This was happening 2 or 3 times a day, stopping production and making a huge mess. They even brought in 2 teams of Six Sigma black belt experts, and they couldn't solve it.
So, if the experts failed, where did the solution come from? You guessed it, a frontline worker. He suggested slipping a single steel washer behind the guide rail, just one. This tilted the rail just enough to dramatically reduce the friction. The bunching? It stopped, instantly. A problem that cost the company thousands was solved with a washer. Incredible.
And look, this isn't just a factory floor thing. Let's head over to a hotel bar in Stockholm. A bartender there put it perfectly. He was describing what happened every single time they had to leave the bar to haul empty bottles down to the basement. He said, so simply, you could watch sales go down. Now that is the kind of crystal clear connection that frontline staff see every single day. And because they see the problems, they already have the solutions. The bar staff suggested drilling holes in the floor to just drop bottles directly to recycling, saving 10 minutes every hour. They saw the single beer tap was a total bottleneck, so they said, hey, why don't we add a second one? They noticed customers kept asking for an organic cocktail, so guess what they suggested? Putting one on the menu. Simple. Brilliant. You notice a pattern here? All these ideas have a few things in common. They're not some grand 5-year plan. They're small, cheap, and super easy to implement. They solve a real customer need or an employee frustration. And yeah, while each one seems small on its own, their cumulative impact is absolutely massive. How massive? The Clarion Hotel gets about 50 of these ideas per employee every single year. Just think about that. Now, an organization that can consistently generate and implement this flood of small ideas isn't just getting lucky. Nope. It's operating under a completely different model. It's what's called an idea-driven organization. Now, this doesn't mean chaos or everyone just doing whatever they want. The definition here is really crucial. It's an organization where leadership sets the direction, but it's driven by the constant flow of bottom-up ideas to actually get there. And they get there faster and better than the competition. I mean, the difference is like night and day. In a traditional company, improvement is seen as management's job, and it's executed through a few big, heavy projects. But in an idea-driven organization, improvement is everyone's job, and it's fueled by thousands of small ideas from the people who know the work best.
So why does all this matter? Why should you care? Because this isn't just some abstract management theory. This is the key to unlocking a huge hidden potential that exists inside pretty much every single organization.
Think about your own workplace through the lens of this chart. Most organizations, right? They focus all their energy and resources on that 20% slice, the management-driven improvements. That means they are leaving that massive 80% of potential from frontline ideas completely on the table. It's like trying to win a race while only using 1/5 of your engine's power. It just doesn't make sense. And honestly, this is about so much more than just saving a bit of money. When you systematically listen to your people, you build this amazing culture of engagement. You foster nonstop, low-cost innovation. You create a truly resilient organization that adapts and improves from the ground up every single day. So I'm going to leave you with a question. What simple, elegant solutions, what tiny washers are just waiting to be discovered in your organization? And maybe more importantly, what would it take to finally start listening?